Hey guys, Kakarot197 again. This time with an unboxing and review of the Robot Spirits Gym Type C from the Gundam 0083 OVA series provided to me by Mecha Japan. And if you use my discount code KKOT5, you will get a 5% discount on your next purchase there. But now, let's have a look at the Gym Type C, also known as the Gym Kai. And we can see the Gym Kai itself peeping out of its little window there. And another thing we can see is that we're getting two antennas for the back of the head. Now, I wonder if they're going to be two identical ones, or if one of them is going to be slightly rubbery and less fragile, and the other one being a more solid one. Then at the bottom we get an assurance of Tamashii Nation's quality, and it also tells us that even though it was made in China, it was designed in Japan. Reminds me of those things where it says like assembled in the USA, just so they can tell you that no, it's not completely from China, there was some stuff done in our country. Then at the back of the box we get a quick overview of some of the nice actiony poses we can do with this thing, the wide range of movement it can pull off, and we also get one of the more popular scenes of the anime where South Burning decided that the best course of action to take out a quite big enemy mobile suit slash mobile armor is to punch it right in the face instead of using the included beam saber. And talking about the beam saber, we get a nice variety of beam effect parts, thruster parts, and also other little accessories as we can see on the side of the box. And of course they're also promoting the other effect parts that you can buy that are compatible with this figure. And then on the other side of the box we get a nice full body shot of the gym, the name, the line that it's from, so that it'll look pretty nice on your shelf if you decide to stack them like that. But let's now open it up and see what we're getting inside of it. And in terms of looks, this is almost exactly what I wanted it to be. Out of all of the figures and model kits I've seen of the Gym Kai, this is by far the best proportioned one. They call it version anime, and in terms of anime accuracy, I would say they totally nailed it. The only thing I can say here that I would have kind of preferred to be a little bit better is that we do have seam lines running right through the middle of everything, but I guess that is my model kit side talking, because I guess this is something that is more common with action figures. This figure really manages to capture how lean and mean the Gym Kai really is, and also why I fell in love with this machine the first time I saw it so many years ago. And the articulation only makes it better. The head goes back super far with the help of some really cool engineering. Pay attention to this part and how it vanishes inside of the head when it moves up. And this is something we're gonna see again real soon. Then the shoulders go up really far all the way like that, and allow the arms to go up all the way as well, making it possible for this thing to do the final shooting pose. Then of course they'll rotate around all the way, and since they're on ball joints they can go forwards and backwards a little bit, but most of that is going to come from the torso itself being able to go forwards and backwards. Then they'll of course rotate around all the way, bend at the elbow on 2 joints, and then the hands are on the usual ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does, but they also have an additional hinge joint in that wrist. Then the waist will go really far forwards on 2 joints, revealing that text that always has to be on a model kit somewhere, but I gotta commend them. This was probably the best place to put it because when you have it normally, it is nicely hidden. And while we're here, these thrusters can also move a little bit on a ball joint. Now, as for rotation of the waist, you gotta be a bit careful, but it will rotate around all the way once you extend it a little bit, because otherwise you're gonna knock out the front skirts. And talking about the front skirts, they are on ball joints, will go up all the way like that. And then the legs can go forwards normally like so. And then they have an extra sliding joint in there to allow them to go forwards that little bit extra. Then for the outwards movement, these side skirts are also on ball joints, allowing the legs to go out all the way like that. They'll rotate around a little bit on their ball joint, then bend at the knees on 2 joints, and again, we're gonna have this panel that kinda slides in to give it a really nice range of movement. And then the feet are on a double ball joint and hinge combo, giving them really nice forwards movement, nice backwards movement. They'll of course rotate around all the way. They'll go very nicely side to side, and they've also got a toe joint. And then of course the ankle armor also goes nicely up and down. So again, just as with the looks, this is one of the best gym kais you can get, period. Honestly, the only way they could have improved this thing was if the back skirts were also movable. So now, let's have a look at the accessories that this thing comes with. And let's start off with what is already on the machine, the beam saber, for which we get 2 really nicely articulated beam saber blade effect parts. We've got a normal one, and then we've got a really cool looking action-y slashing one. So for now, let's just go with the regular one and put it into the hands that were already on the thing. One thing I will say about this is that the connection between the effect part and the beam saber itself is quite loose. Like, not quite to the point where it's going to fall out, but it could have been a bit more secure. And while we're at it, let's have a look at the shield then. It's nicely detailed, it's got the Federation logo on it, and on the back it is also nicely painted in gray. Then we've got a grip that will rotate around, and with the included hand, the gym can actually hold up the shield with just that grip. Now we do get an extra piece that will go in there and then attaches to the arm, but if you want to make some of these poses that you will sometimes see them do in the anime, that is completely possible with this figure. And if you want it to be on the back of the arm, you can get this piece so that you can attach it like this. Now the manual does tell you to either use these attachment pieces or the grip, but as I've just shown you, you can in fact use both. Or if you don't want the shield to be on the arm, you can simply remove it, attach this piece to it, and hook it up to the backpack. Now this was easier said than done, but I eventually managed to do it. Now, let's have a look at the other accessories for which you're going to need the left and right trigger finger hand. First up, we've got the bullpup machine gun with some nice detailing on it, and unfortunately a seam line running right through the middle of it. Fortunately, it does look really nice and it's not too noticeable, although other than that it doesn't really do anything. We don't have a removable magazine. Then you simply slide it into one of the trigger finger hands and hook it up to the Jim Kai. And then the final weapon is the Hyper Bazooka. Again, it is the same story as with the bullpup machine gun. It is nicely detailed, it's got some green for the sensor there, it does have a seam line running right through the middle of it, but it totally looks the part. And what this thing does that the bullpup machine gun didn't do is that it does have a removable magazine, so that is pretty cool, clicks nice and securely in there, and we also have a movable handle to help it with posing. So let's slide in that trigger finger hand and then hook it up to the Jim-Kai. Also, screw that shield and that connector that just doesn't want to stay on the backpack. That is the one thing I hate the most about this figure. And since I've now been removing some hands, let's quickly talk about this thing. It is a very simple piece that you can simply put all of the spare hands on. And other than the ones that we're currently using and the ones that we just removed, we get these extra holding hands, which are going to be very good for the beam sabers. We get these normal kinda static open hands, and then we've got these more action-y open hands, like it's trying to actively grab something or it just did a beam saber slash. Those are going to be really nice. So now the Jim-Kai is ready to use all of those weapons, but what if you want to store these weapons? Because you can store all of the weapons on the thing. The Hyper Bazooka, you simply turn it around, open up this thing on the back skirt, you turn this around, and then you plop it in there. And I really do appreciate it that you can turn this around so it doesn't completely obstruct the thrusters. Then onto the bullpup machine gun, and this is something that I really liked as well. Here you have to remove this panel, click this thing in there, and then the bullpup machine gun goes on there. And then you simply put that back on there, and now the Jim-Kai has all of its weapons at its disposal. And then the final accessories we still have to cover is that second antenna, and it is exactly the same one as the one that is already on there, but frankly, considering how fragile this is, and considering how much you're gonna have to fight with that damn shield to get it on the backpack, which is very close to that antenna, you might accidentally end up breaking that, so it is a good thing that they did give us two of those antennas, and then the thruster effect parts. And these are going to look really nice when you put them in some action poses, and especially if you've got some more of these, because yeah, two are nice, but unfortunately for the Jim-Kai, with the amount of thrusters it's got going on, you really need more. It's got 4 thrusters on the backpack and then 2 on each of the feet, so getting an extra effect set might be very worth it for this thing. Also, if we have another look at the shield, you will see that there are 2 holes in there, which are for the separately sold explosion effect part. And talking about holes to put things in, if we have a look at the bottom of the thing, you'll see a hole right there to put an action base into it. So as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And I gotta say, it's been a while since I've gotten any of the Robot Spirits figures, and I was very impressed by this thing. I knew I was going to like it, but I like it even more than I thought I was going to. In my mind, 6,600 yen is still quite a bit for an action figure, but that does seem to be the price point that the market is moving to. So for that price, we are getting a superbly articulated action figure that looks absolutely perfect. I'm now even more excited about getting my Jim Quell, and in fact, I'm actually, because of my own review, now considering getting an effect part set so that I can have all of the thrusters active. And then finally, for some size comparisons, here it is next to the standard size Jim Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. And even though the Jim-Kai is, as far as I know, a non-scale action figure, it does seem to match up quite well to the 1/144th scale Jim Custom. So again, if you want to buy your own, there is a link down below, and don't forget about the coupon code KKOT5 to get a 5% discount. So a big thanks to Mecha Japan for sending me this figure. another big thank you to the Patreon supporters, and I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.